Representative Almeida.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First is 7D. No?
Yeah, no. Yes, today's 70.
It'll be for probation and parole, a consent protection act, and a prompt payment act. You hear me? You hear me?
Excuse me, Representative, could you please repeat that?
No.
No? Please?
Okay. It'll be for a consent protection act, prompt payment act, and probation and parole tomorrow. And also recognition for adjournment.
That's your 7D, and you also had an adjournment?
Yeah, and a little bit of, as always, a little piece of Black history. So, for the law enforcement in this room, law enforcement has been around for a very long time, as everybody knows. And there was one particular black gentleman right after the Civil War, and right after he escaped and he went west. And his life was actually taken and rewritten differently, but only they put a white man in his position. His name was Bass Reeves. He would be like you would call maybe today the Lone Ranger. And he was the first and only at that time, right after slavery, to become a quote-unquote Lone Ranger. I think he was in office, he was in service for close to 20 years. And Mr. Reeves, he brought in over 1,100 people. And back then, you could bring him in dead or alive. But he only brought in 2 that were dead. Mr. Reeves went on to the Indian Territory, and this is where it gets a little twisted in history. You've all seen the movie, believe it or not. And what he did was, in each Indian Territory, he needed, which by the way, he couldn't read or write, but in fact he could speak 4 dialects of the Native American language. In each territory he went to, he was able to cross over and talk to Native Americans to, I guess, catch the bad guy with the help of the Native American. And that movie was called The Lone Ranger, Hi-Ho Silver. But they put a white man in his spot. And when you check the history books, you will find, in fact, it was Bass Reeves. He was a heck of a crack shot. He could shoot, he could fight. And he ended up arresting one individual because there was only 2 that he had to kill. But there was one in particular that he hunted down, he brought him to justice, and that person had beat up his wife, something awful. And that person was his son, and he brought him in alive. So law enforcement goes way back along with black history. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every time I come up here, I keep talking to you all about yesteryear. Well, let's talk about today. Why don't you all look around this room and you'll see history right now. I start off with 2 people. I'm gonna embarrass them, but they'll get over it, I hope. One of them is Anastasia Williams, a Black Latina first. She has the best of both bloods in her, the Latino blood and African American blood. And all of us in the black community, Anastasia, we're proud of you. We're proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, she is also a chairwoman of finance. Chairwoman of labor. Now you know where I'm going up to. Chairwoman of labor, a black woman. Again, history right around us. We have a gentleman who is the gentleman of gentlemen. My brother, you know I'm talking about you, Marvin Abney.
Excuse me, Representative, as much as I love hearing your stories, and I truly do.
This ain't no story. This ain't no story.
Is there an adjournment here?
Yeah, I just gave you the guy's name, Bass Reeves. Write his name down.
Okay.
All right. So now we get on here to the next brother right here. History is every day and all around us. My brother comes from down south in Texas to come up here. He comes up here, he works hard, and now he's going to be working with my sister, Anastasia Williams. Marvin, I don't know how you do it, because you are truly a class act. Everybody here would agree to that. I love you, brother, even though you weren't in the Marine Corps, but I still love you. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Black history is every day. You can see it with Marvin, you can see it with Anastasia. Let me tell you a little bit more about Black history. Black history does not include Black people. Jewish people helped Black folks start the NAACP in New York. They helped with their hard work, they helped with their financing. If you look at the front line of when Martin Luther King...
Excuse me, Representative. What's your point of order, Representative Hall? Could you use your microphone?
Would you please allow him to finish, please?
Okay, I don't want to violate any rules. We're on
We're not violating anything. He is speaking. Please allow him to finish, please.
We're on an adjournment,
Yes.
so if
Would you
you want
please allow him to finish, please?
Representative Hull, thank you for your point of order. We're on an adjournment. Adjournment is you talk about the person who passed away. Representative Almeida, I love you. Sit down, Representative Hull. Representative Hull, you're out of order. Sit down. Representative Hull, I will not allow you to disrupt this floor. Sit down. Representative Almeida, please shut his microphone off. Representative Almeida, I love your history talk. We all do. We're on an adjournment. Please. Representative Hull, if you keep disrupting this house, I will ask the sheriff to take you off the floor until you can comport yourself. Sit down.
This is my history. This is our history.
And there's a time and a place for it. Thank you. Sit down. Sit down, please. Representative Williams, what's your point of order?
It's Madam Chairwoman Williams.
I'm sorry, Chairwoman Williams.
I am going to respectfully say to you and my colleagues in this chamber, what just took place was absolutely not necessary, and it was not handled in the proper manner for which you, as the acting speaker, someone that is taking the lead, should have behaved. I understand and I respect that my colleague, Representative Almeida, may have been out of the context of adjournment, but he has a history that he is sharing at the moment, and it may not have been the right place, but your place should have been and should be that Representative Almeida, while we are on adjournment, let's move this and so that you're able to address what you're trying to address, not the behavior that just went and took place, not only in this chamber, but for everybody that is watching us right now, and for the people of color who's celebrating Black History Month, the shortest month of the year. Please, please, I know that you got it going on, and I know that you have more respect in you to give than what you just demonstrated. Please do not disrespect the community of color in Black History Month at this time in this chamber, now or ever again. Please do not.
Thank you, Representative Williams. Let me say this. When you're on the podium, we have to follow the rules. When you get up for an adjournment, you stick to the adjournment. What I would suggest is, Representative Almeida, if you put in a resolution honoring Black History Month, we will read it, we will sign it, we will discuss it, and we will listen to it. And we would all love to hear that. So it's no disrespect, I'm talking right now, it's no disrespect to you or Black History Month. It just has to be done in the proper forum, or we'll have total chaos. So you're more than welcome to do it. Could you do it in the resolution form so we can hear it all? I was speaking, Representative Tansey. Do you understand, Representative Almeida, the distinction? Do your adjournment, do a resolution, get up and talk all you want about Black History Month. We'd love to hear it. Representative Tansey, what's your point of order?
point of order is that it is in fact properly before us. He repeated himself twice for you to understand what he was about to do. He said that he was going to do his 7 Ds, he said he was going to do an adjournment, and then he said he had an announcement. And so he did his 7 Ds, he did his adjournment, and now he is doing an announcement. He said he had a bit of history, and that is precisely what he is doing. I would argue that he is in fact doing precisely what was before us. So I object to your ruling of him being out of order, and that brings us, as the parliamentarian will surely tell you, my objecting to overrule your order would mean that we would have to do a vote. You either sustain my ruling, or we can go to a vote and see if people want to sustain that.
Sure, Leader Scacchi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If someone disagrees with the ruling of the chair, the speaker in this particular case, the procedure is to challenge the ruling of the chair. Now, no one has done that. The point I want to make is that is a non-debatable motion, and I would ask the speaker.
Clerk, unlock the machine. All those in favor of the ruling of the chair, please vote green.
Hold on. We need to walk right out of here. I'm taking over, come on.
Representative Hull, you are out of order.
You're out of order, Mr. Speaker. We allowed him to speak his mind. You allowed it to happen. Let him finish.
Representative Hull, I will address it. You are out of order. You wait until you are addressed by the chair. The chair will get to everybody in the room. Please use your microphones and act respectfully. And I will get to you. I will get to you. Speak after you are acknowledged. You and everybody else in this room. Now, Representative Almeida, I believe you have something you want to say. Proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ms.
Chairwoman, please.
What you want to say?
I'm going to just, I understand. I am going to kindly ask everybody. I'm going to,
Listen, keep your comments to yourself.
I am going to kindly ask, I'm going to start calling people out by name. People are speaking without being called at a time that is very inappropriate and disrespectful to this chamber and the public. Please wait until you are called upon by the chair. If you want to say something and address anybody, use your light. Otherwise, you're not recognized and you're out of order. Representative Almeida, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So,
hold on, Representative.
I offer to remove my challenge to the chair.
Representative Almeida, proceed, and anyone that's not recognized, please be respectful to this room and the public. Proceed, Representative Almeida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, initially when I started, I did the 7D, not to be repetitious, and then I talked about the recognition of adjournment, and I also said that it would be a piece of black history, like I've been doing for a month. So I don't know what went wrong, but that's what I've been doing. And to continue on, what I was simply saying was that I'm reaching around to all the white members here on this House floor that black history was not done just by black people. It was, in fact, done and included with white people. As I said earlier, with the Jewish folks that helped with the NAACP in New York, had Marlon Brando on the front line with Martin Luther King leading the way. And with all of you here today, it is not just about black history, about black folks doing what was needed by black leaders. It was by all of us in this room. That's what I was trying to say. I'm going to go back and say it again, that I appreciate Anastasia Williams as the first black woman, Black Latina, in labor. First black man in finance, Marvin Abney. And all I'm simply saying was, we have come a long way. Not us black people that I just mentioned, but as well as Latinos who have worked with us side by side in everything that black folks have done. I've been doing this for a month. Wow, I didn't think it would go this far. But maybe this country needs a whole lot more work to be done. Black people need to join, don't get nervous, you Democrats in this room, need to join the Republican Party. And I am myself, as a staunch Democrat, will ensure that that happens. Because I believe in the two-party system.
Here's a quote, Representative.
I'm done. But I gave my word and my honor to the honorable Republicans in that corner, because that's what America is about, two systems. I ask that all of you look at Black America as part of everything that you all have done, be ye white, be ye black, or Latino. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, my mind is just blowing a fuse. I can't believe what I'm going through right now. But Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen of this House, thank you for listening to me. God bless America.
Thank you, Representative.